Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A very good Friday morning to you. It's game day. It's game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. It's also the day before the Elks season opener. This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage on your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Edmonton Sports Talk, that is us, presented by Play Alberta. Matt Iwanyk, Scout from the Elks Call with us, Glue Guy, Benny the intern with you here on the Hangout. Thank you to everyone for listening live on EdmontonSports.com, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, listening or watching on YouTube, as well as listening podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. How's everyone doing today?
Good. I mean, it's an Oilers playoff game, that Stanley Cup Final game day, so that's always exciting. The night before regular season for Elks fans, that's always exciting as well. So it's a great day. What about you, Jay?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's Friday.
That's always great.
That's great.
That's always great.
Looking forward to a weekend full of yard work.
Oh yeah,
and basketball.
That grass has been green.
Yeah,
I'm following the journey of your lawn.
Yes, it is green. It is green. I've got. Our lawn is pretty much taken care of, but I'm kind of the because we spray for dandelions and clover. Okay, par three. Yeah, big believer in par 3.
So is my dad.
Yeah, so I've taken on the role in our neighborhood as the guy.
Oh,
so I've got my neighbors to do.
Oh, you
my
do
neighbors.
it too. You don't just give it to them.
No, I'll do it for them. Okay. So I've got to. It's just been so damn windy.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally been, it's way too windy to spray. Especially, like, you know, if you're using something that's got a little bit of a reach. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But, yeah, I guess it is a big game day. Mm-hmm. Right? There's something going on tonight in Edmonton.
Just a little something.
There's a little something.
Yeah, Triumph and Glorious Sons.
Yes.
That's happening.
On the line.
3:40. That gets going. The lineup's going to start early, I would have to. Like, today... Moss Pit and the whole downtown core is going to be just another level compared to what it was on Wednesday.
Well,
was it Wednesday?
Because it's Friday.
It's a Friday, exactly.
Like, and it's leading in, like, it's going to be, especially if the Oilers win today, like, there's no work tomorrow. There's nothing to do tomorrow. Yard work could wait for some people.
Well, there is flag football and a basketball tournament.
For Jay.
For me.
But for others, there is, like, it's going to be as the older kids would say, it's going to be lit.
It's going to be lit.
Yes. What would the newer kids say today?
No cap for real?
Yeah. I don't even know. Like, yeah, it's gonna be lit. No cap.
Hang on. No cap?
No cap means not lying.
Why don't you say not lying?
Because why would you?
Why would you?
Why would you say something that's totally irrelevant?
Why would you say any of the lingo that you had back in the day?
Like what? Sweet?
I don't know.
That's tubular, dude.
That was sweet. We used to say sweet.
Okay.
Oh, sweetness, man.
Okay.
Sweetness.
But that makes sense. When you say no cap,
No cap.
what is? I still don't know what it. Say it again. What it means?
Cap means lie. So no cap would mean you're not lying.
Cat or cap?
Cap.
Like he has a cap on.
No cap
No cap.
means truth.
Not lying. Yeah.
Like the Oilers were really good in game 1. No cap.
For real.
Yeah.
No.
The Oilers were trash in game 1. They got lucky to win. Cap.
Cap.
Come on.
Yeah.
You actually say cap?
There have definitely been times where like someone says something and I just yell cap.
What would we do without Benny here?
He's actually very helpful to this.
Is he?
Yeah, because we learned a lot.
Is he helpful or is he just?
It was 2 Fridays ago, I think it was. Jolene really helped us.
Jay, tonight has a lot of aura.
For real.
I was flipping around. Some radio stations say I heard one guy aura farming a lot today.
Yeah.
He was aura farming big time.
Yeah, and I get it. I'm not, I'm not young. I'm not hip. I'm a 43-year-old father of 3 that's, in that stage of my life. I'm not looking to try buy into the cap or no cap. I could care less about cap. I just think I couldn't. Yeah.
Cap was a thing when I was in middle school. Like,
so that's already old.
Yeah, this is old.
I was gonna say like you should go home and use this a little bit, but your girls I don't think would be of the age.
If my
to
girls
know
came
things.
home and said no cap, I would kick them outside. and make them sleep on the deck with the dogs.
They wouldn't do that. They just go to grandma's house.
They would.
You already know.
We're not going to be a no cap house. I can assure you of that.
Yeah, but I think they might be too young to know the lingo because when like it's more like a high school thing. You start doing that. No. What do you do in junior high?
Middle school is when I think it first started for me at least.
Your oldest is what grade?
Grade 7.
So she
Yeah.
might start knowing it a little bit.
I think
Go
she
home
does.
today.
Does she have TikTok?
No, God, no.
Okay, good.
She doesn't even have a phone.
Good. Then,
Good, yeah.
They're not allowed to have phones till they can drive.
Wow.
How much longer is that?
For Grace?
Yeah.
On her own, 4 years.
To learners in 2 years.
The learners in 2 years, but that's
Wow.
no phone, brah. El Presidente says, I have no idea what's going on right now.
Just trying
I
to
don't
be
blame
lit.
you.
Survey Brett says my grade 5 uses cap. You should go home and just see if Grace knows his cap.
No.
Just go look at her like
I'm
cap,
not-
no cap.
I'm not
and see if
bringing
she
that
says anything.
For real.
Yeah. I could try it.
I'll just text your wife and ask her to do it.
Yeah, you could. She would probably laugh at you. She'd be like, she'd have a harder stance than I would on
Oh, yeah?
cap, no cap. Oh, yeah.
Unless she loves it. And April starts using it.
There you go.
I would die.
For real.
I would die.
That's on God.
For real is like, okay, I at least understand like what you're saying.
But it's typed FR.
Yes.
See, I would think
you gotta
somebody saying,
tighten it.
I think somebody would saying French.
Yeah,
It's you're tight. You're making it smaller.
that's where we
And
get a
that's what-
second.
That's all
here,
this
too.
is. It's just efficient
Yeah.
texting.
It's
But
like,
cap means nothing.
Well, it does.
What's it abbreviated?
Lie.
Yeah, it's like
Well, that's not abbreviated of lie.
no, it's like
I guess, yeah.
Let's see what Urban
Still
Dictionary has
3
to say.
letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Urban
Like, I just don't know how did it come up as cap? Like, why not mule or Ringo
I
or
think cap is just the one syllable. Like
Take it
Okay.
easy, Jay. You're
Easy,
trend setting
easy,
over here.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're gonna start a whole new.
I'm gonna come up with my own
Yeah,
word.
exactly.
I like how the word cap has actually changed. So 2004, to shoot someone with a handgun turned to the side,
Jesus.
right? Put a cap in someone.
Yeah.
And now it's lying for no reason. Like, actually, why would you say this? And the example, I go to Yale. Other people, stop the cap.
yeah, stop the cap. Stop the cap.
And Benny, I'm not coming at you at all.
he's
you
just-
can
my
use
generation.
it.
Just the generation
I'm
coming
just
at the
echoing
generation.
what my generation is.
But I wonder if when I was your age,
Yeah.
you're 21?
22.
No, 22. I wonder when
Zach's
you're
21.
when I was your age and like somebody I knew or worked with was my age, say
Yeah.
there was a 20-year age gap. I wonder if they looked at me and wondered about some of the things I said.
100%.
Yes.
I don't know if there was that much.
Or what you wore.
Maybe what I wore. But then, okay,
doing the
so
old-
here's another
Like you were
problem.
probably walking, doing your finger clicks.
Were you doing one of these?
People are probably like, why are you finger clicking?
like the hat like
Yeah.
that. Never.
Okay.
I think you should do the show like that fully.
Yeah. Just lean into it.
Painful. Oh, it looks even worse on camera. This is painful.
But this is unfortunately an AI generation.
What does that have to do with AI?
I think that's what
Stop the cap.
You're finding simpler ways to do things instead of just doing them, like saying you're lying instead of saying
Yeah, but this
cap.
came before like AR was a big thing.
Well,
And I don't know. We would text my. It's LOL, BRB.
no.
OT dubs.
That's what we did. Burb.
Burb.
Be right back. But why would I write be right back? I'll just
really
say
am
BRB.
sounding-
Laugh out loud. LOL.
Like an old man yelling
this
at
conversation's bussing.
For real,
Don't
for
go
real.
there. Don't go there. We don't need to go down that road with Jay right now. I don't think he'll be happy.
clouds. Is bussin' good
Yeah.
or is it whack?
No, it's good. It's good.
It's not
Something is
whack.
excellent.
Excellent.
Wiggity
Delicious.
whack.
It's not whack. Unless you're using whack in an ironic way.
Somewhere Reed's punching his television right now.
Reed loves this stuff.
No, yeah, sure.
Reed's a big fan of
Jay's
this.
turning into an alpha.
Big Uke says Jay's being pre-sus RN FR.
Yes.
Right now,
Right
for
now.
real,
For real. Big U got it.
That's what you're doing.
Okay, then I am being sus.
This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. Canada storage experts more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life transitions. Canadian storage provider by Canadian. Find a convenient location nearest you by going to sentinel.ca. Let's get to Hangout headlines, which is brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. Book your tee time today by visiting theranchgolf.com. You can also book your tournament today by connecting with them. EST Golf Classic presented by Play Alberta will be played at the Ranch it just feels right. Over 180 tournaments each year at the ranch. Well, actually, before we get to the Oilers, Pete Debor fired in Dallas.
That's huge.
You didn't see that one yet? Yeah, he fired. Shocking, right?
So shocking. Like it's almost like we like totally did not discuss this for the past week about how he probably should get fired, and now he's fired.
For real, for real.
Yeah,
It makes sense. You can't bring a coach back that way. Nope. Coach can't do that to his franchise goalie and then have the locker room not like that, and then you'd be like, "Welcome back next year."
No, that locker room may see some issues by the time the regular season rolls around if you keep Pete Debor, right? And great guy, fantastic guy. You just can't make those comments in a presser, especially end of year pressers and after game pressers. Like everybody's very emotional in those moments. We know how that goes. But you can't make those comments. You can't throw your goaltender under the bus, so to speak.
It's not even going into the regular season. I think it's also, if you're the Dallas Stars, you have to envision if you want to get to the Cup final next year, there's a good chance you have to go through the Edmonton Oilers. And how can you have Pete Debor and Jake Ottinger go together and go up against the Edmonton Oilers with the Edmonton Oilers going, the coach doesn't believe in the goalie.
Especially if it's festering all offseason too, right? Like that's going to fester.
That's exactly it.
Do you think, or would you entertain the thought that maybe this was premeditated by the organization, as in, if you don't get to the Stanley Cup Finals this year,
I see
then
where
we're
you're
going to
with
have
this.
to make a change?
And that's where I feel like Pete Debor knew he was getting fired.
That's what I mean,
I
because
think
he sure
knew, and
reacted.
maybe it's not from the organization, but maybe there's been conversation, or maybe he just there's that feeling sometimes, when you're going to get fired. I have a feeling he went like, look, if especially if we're losing in 5 or whatever, they're going to get rid of me. He has seen that. He has been to 7 of 8 conference finals, and he's on his 3rd organization in that run too. Like teams have gotten rid of him, and I'm sure he knew I'm going to be gone possibly here. So who cares? I'm going to lay it on the line in a different way. So no, I said that at the time. I do believe he felt he was going to get fired. Like I don't think this comes after that fully as much. I think Pete Debor was thinking, or maybe he wanted to get fired. It's the other side of that is maybe he's just like, I don't want to coach this team.
Well, the simple way to look at it is, I guess, it would be, okay, if he did not snap that decision and pull Jake Ottinger and ride with him the rest of the game, if it made a difference or not, is Pete Debor still the head coach?
If they lose the series,
Even if they lose the series.
But he doesn't make those comments.
I wonder because the players had some negative comments for him on their meetings with.
but he's saying if you don't do that with Jake Ottinger, so
they
those
feel that same way.
those players aren't going to feel that way.
Yeah.
There's not that animosity between him and Ottinger. They win game 5, let's say even, but lose game 6. Does it change what the outcome? I don't think.
I mean, it's hard to say.
I know.
obviously,
I still
but
think.
He's got he had 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah, I think Jim Nill, and that's maybe where this came from, where he thought he was getting fired. Is there hasn't been real conversation of an extension.
Yeah.
Jim Nill's. What's his history of coaching?
Well, and I will say too, like Pete Debor, there's a good chance he's coaching another team next year.
The thing is though is that I think the last team that was looking for a head coach just hired their guy.
He'll be the first hire when somebody gets fired next year.
Yeah. That's probably what's gonna be.
He'll be
He's gonna
one of those
wait.
guys that it's as soon as someone gets fired
a
in
team has a bad
November.
start, first bad 20 games.
Like who would that team be?
What team? Sorry.
Like what team would start next year where if they got off to a rough start, coach would be fired, and Pete Debor gets brought in, and I just got
Colorado?
That's not a bad one.
That's not a bad one. No.
Except I don't know if Joe Sakic could do that. He doesn't seem like a guy. He's a pretty patient guy.
Yeah, things change when your back's up against the wall, though.
I think Calgary could be a funny option.
What about Toronto?
No,
It's only his second year.
Rube's fresh.
Yeah.
Winnipeg?
Yeah, it's just they just Scott Arneal's
They just
first
got-
year.
They just got him.
Colorado would be one.
What about Florida?
No, but no, Florida.
Do you think the
That's a
Paul
very good
Maurice
run.
shtick is getting old there, too?
No,
No?
they're back in the Cup final.
I know.
And who's it getting tired for?
Yeah, that was a stupid comment.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
you can call me stupid, Matt. It's okay. Wouldn't be the first time.
Islanders? Did they just re-up Waugh?
I think they just said that he's
I think,
staying as
I
the
think
coach.
Colorado's
Well, I
Colorado's
actually
the
have
answer.
another one. I have another one here. The return to Vegas.
Oh,
Wouldn't be the first coach to
Yeah.
go back to another team.
Yeah.
Vegas isn't afraid to make changes.
Yeah.
Golden Knights get off to a slow start. Do they look at Pete Debor and make the reunion of that one?
people have talked like Cassidy might be out of there because it's like Vegas has had a disappointing couple of years here.
And Kelly McCrimmon doesn't wait.
No.
He's not afraid to make those moves. The other one, and now he's only done it once in his career, was here in Edmonton, but LA.
Yep.
Does Ken Holland look at Pete Debor
That's a great one.
and go,
Because Hiller's probably already got to be on a short leash.
it's not his coach? Does he
Yeah.
sit there and go, okay, it's
That's
December?
a good one, Matty.
So I don't see anyone out east that I'm fully, because there's a lot of coaching changes. So the Flyers have just hired someone. Pittsburgh
Yeah,
just
but
hired
that
someone.
doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean you're obligated to give that new hire a long leash.
But
like
so,
if they come out and let's say
like
in
Drew
Boston,
Bannister with St. Louis this year, 22 games, he was let go.
right? It happens.
It's rare though.
But these all were signed. These hirings were made before Pete Debor was available.
I know.
Interesting
Right.
point, though. Pete Debor is a Western Conference coach. I've never thought about that. This guy has mostly ridden with Western Conference teams.
Except he did take the Devils to the Stanley Cup final.
That was a hot minute ago.
It was a while ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was in Florida too prior to. So he started out east and then he's come out west. And he's been good out west to getting teams far. But if he goes out east, yeah, I'm just trying to think who else.
Because Colorado was a letdown this year.
Yeah.
No question. I mean, to get bounced in the first round, albeit it was against a hell of an opponent, but I would think Jared Bednar's on that.
I could see that one,
Yeah.
especially if they get to a slow start. But like Washington, maybe Washington? Great year this year, but
He coached with Florida from 2008 to 2011.
yeah, that one I always forget.
Devils 2011.
I could see maybe Washington if they get off to a slow start. Maybe there's a Pete Debor. It's Ovi's maybe second last year.
As
Bringing it to
leaked
Pete
by
Debor.
the Washington Capitals
Yes,
staff.
right.
Wonder if that guy's still with the team.
Oh, whoever did that mistake, they got in real trouble. It'd have to be. I also don't know how that's a mistake that happens.
I feel like it was one of those leaks that they were trying to leak, but also,
Oh, I just feel like they were prepping something and they accidentally hit send
yeah, it must have been
when they
it.
weren't. Because why would you say it's Ovi's last year, like without that being approved by?
Then
anyone?
the walk back, I think that's what kind of pisses me off. Like, how are we walking that back immediately after? No, it's not Ovi's last season. Well, where's the cap? Where's the cap here? For real, for real.
I still don't know what you said.
Where's
No.
the lie?
Where's the lie?
Whoa, where's
For
the
real,
lie?
for real. I'm assuming you understand for real. By the way, we've got a bear next to me for those that are watching on the Hangout. Gager brought this in. I don't know why.
Whenever I hear for real, I think of Derek for real from the movie Blow.
Never seen it.
Derek for real was Pee Wee Herman's character in the movie. Pretty sure it was Derek for real, and he was the original person that set up. What was his name? What was Johnny Depp's character's name?
Slipping me right now. I haven't seen it in 10 to 20 years.
No. I gotta get this.
Well, at least let me get it so I know. Okay, I got the name. Yesterday, or was it 2 days ago? Reed did trivia of he likes every so often, like 90, a movie will pop up and be like, you want an Academy or nominated for Academy Award, and I'll pull it up. And he tries to name them all. And then we go through it, and then we went through the 91 Academy Awards.
It's like, give me the first name.
No, because then I think it gives it away.
Give me the last name then.
Well, I think it gives it away. The first name is the same name as a character in Seinfeld.
Oh, George Young.
There you go.
Nice.
George Young. Yes.
I don't want to say George.
Great
outright.
movie. Great movie.
Is the one I should watch?
You haven't watched Blow?
Did you not hear me at the beginning say I've never seen it?
Clearly I didn't.
Yeah, you got to watch it.
Hey, Ray Liotta's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
Look at that. Maybe one day I'll watch it. Put it
Banger
on the
cast.
list.
And
Put it on the desk.
who's the big fact? Ethan Suplee is in it. Or is that Ethan or... Yeah, Ethan Suplee. He's George Young's main guy.
Oh, okay.
Really good
Oh, yeah,
movie.
him. He lost a lot of weight.
He has. He was heavy Ethan Suplee in this movie.
Because was he not in like Varsity Blues?
No.
Or who am I thinking of with Varsity Blues?
He was in
Remember the
Titans.
That's what it was. And John Q. He was in John
Probably
Q.
one of the greatest sports movies of all times.
Oh,
Remember the Titans.
Greatest sports movies of all times. I wish it wasn't a Disney movie. You know, I think it could have been better if it wasn't a Disney movie.
Yeah, but it's nice to be able to say, okay, girls, we're going to watch this movie, and you don't have to worry about it.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, that's valid.
What's the other? What are my fears?
The program
I will
is
say,
great. Ben, what are you laughing at over there?
Me and LT in the nasty chat. That's
Care to share?
it's just something me and LT say to each other. Grape. We're just saying great, but it's
Grape,
say
grape.
Grape.
This is an interesting question. Sorry, I'm gonna jump away from what we were talking about. Great sports movies, which, by the way, like Rocky and Creed's are up there. Boxing translates well onto it.
Oh yeah.
Which one do you disagree with?
Rocky.
Which Rocky? Like, okay, 5, sure.
Yeah. You can say Rocky 5.
Like
I mean,
Rocky 1, Rocky
okay.
4?
The Rocky 4 is entertaining, but the plot is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
What, you don't think the
You
Soviet
think that
Union
little
would just start
pipsqueak-
chanting USA?
think that guy
USA by the end of a
Goes
fight?
into communist Russia and turns the whole crowd, who, by the way, are in the army,
Yeah.
in front of Gorbachev, and turns them to support an American.
You don't think that would happen?
Matt, that's and not even that. The fact that Rocky doesn't get his head punched off by Drago is just ludicrous.
Yeah.
Did you see the Creeds?
No.
Creed 1 and 2. I haven't seen 3. Creed 1 and 2 are really good.
Like the new ones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Michael B. Jordan.
Right, no.
They're really well done. They were nice continuations. And I haven't seen 3 because 3 is when Sylvester Stallone's no longer in it and it becomes just purely Creed. They were really good.
Well,
I think
and
you might
like-
enjoy those ones.
What I'll say is we've been shooting photography over at Shotgun Sports Network. So I know you guys had Alexis Kubicki in here very recently. We've been shooting photography for her and her team, and then of course the rest of Alliance there. And getting some of those shots, it feels like you're in a boxing movie. It's super sick. The lighting is shining down just in the right way, capturing some of those moments, capturing some of those shots. It feels like a boxing movie. So it's cool that we kind of do have some of that environment here in Edmonton, especially down at the River Cree.
We've got a great boxing community, I think, in Edmonton.
And it's
been
getting
a good
stronger.
history here. Should have had a Tyson fight back in the 80s.
Yes. One of the most disappointing things, Mike Tyson not getting that fight, and due to, I believe, I want to say a small injury or small illness.
That was Razor Ruddock?
Believe so?
I don't remember. Edmonton is home to a world championship boxer.
Jelena Majanovic.
Yes.
Me.
What?
Whoa.
Reed got convinced your
ChatGPT.
Yeah, this whole
Yes,
thing with
yes,
ChatGPT
yes,
about
yes.
me being a world championship boxer, and I had my tour and stuff.
Well, Alexis Kubicki, I think, is the world champ.
She
Should have some.
is. She the junior champion, junior flyweight, and then the women's international flyweight. And we'll quickly talk about this. So, with the WBC World Boxing Council international title, it's like a stepping stone belt.
Okay.
So it's not the full belt. You are not the WBC international champion, or sorry, I guess world champion. It'd be world champion at that point. But the international championship is a stepping stone. It helps you in the rankings. It helps you get up there faster. So she's actually on a bit of a path here to make a really good name for Edmonton boxing once again. It's something that we've been covering over at SSN and then the Elks Call as well, Elks Herd. So, yeah, I mean, we've been following that story. She's had a couple big fights. This one here helped her rise up in the rankings. Now we're going to see her travel around a little bit more.
Cool.
Because a lot of these fights have been in Edmonton,
Yeah.
right? So,
I need to go to one.
Dave in Section T
Dave.
Dave,
texted in and he said, keep using bra, Jay. Nothing kills slang faster than old guys using it, and that crap can't disappear fast enough for me.
I like bra.
bruh.
We
You brought
use
that
it
on the Hangout a lot.
We use it in a
fun way.
fun way.
I like it.
Like TBD, bro. Reed and I discovered, and Reed
Deal with it, bro.
Like Reed and I using it is funny because we still don't. We would never say that in real life.
I do now.
Yeah,
Bruh. Like just joking around.
going on,
joking,
bro?
but you're
Yeah.
still joking around.
Yeah, no, it's not like a serious conversation.
like there's
I'll pull up
people
bra.
that say that.
I'm not
and
going to be in
they're
the press
like,
box of the Oiler game tonight and be like,
Yeah.
brah, like, do you see that play? I'm not going to do
You
that.
should. You should.
Reed should punch me at that point.
Reed should punch you anyways.
Are you in the press box tonight?
Yes.
Go. Good for you. Right on.
Thank you. I sit next to Reed. Well, he's stuck next to me. Actually, it was very kind of him to say because he's at the very end. He's like, well, at least I'm not by somebody I don't like. I'm like, that's very nice of you to say.
Oh,
Yeah. He's saying that he likes
how do you know he wasn't talking about the wall beside him on the other side?
I was talking because then he's like, you're not, I could tolerate you type thing. I was like, that's very nice of you, Reed.
He has a way of being nice and saying the right things.
Big Huke's distant cousin says, is Pete Debor a good coach or does he get hired by good teams? Dallas, Vegas, Sharks were all good teams before he got there. To get to 7 of 8 conference finals makes you a good coach. I'll stand by that. I think Pete Debor is he took the Devils also to a Stanley Cup final. He's a good coach. He's borderline great coach. He's just also a coach that's never going to get it done, it seems like.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that. He's not an elite coach.
Yeah.
Maybe a great coach, not elite.
But not enough to get you over that final hump.
Yes. Whereas like Chris Knobloch, when he wins a Stanley Cup this year, I think Chris Knobloch goes into a territory of an elite coach right now.
2 finals in 1.5 seasons. I think that's one of the biggest storylines here. Chris Knobloch is in his 2nd Stanley Cup final in 1.5 years. It's not even a full 2 seasons.
No, it's how many games did he came in? I want to say about 18, 19 games into the last season.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's done an amazing job. And in the playoffs, in 2 playoffs, where it matters the most, I don't think he's gotten many things wrong.
No, think about how many bonehead challenges there were from Chris Knobloch. Are there any that you can think of right now?
Well, I didn't like the one last game.
Last game.
I will go
Yeah,
last game with
true.
that. But
It's
like
just a
even just like
crapshoot at this
roster
point, yeah.
moves and things like that, dealing with his goaltenders, players in and out of the lineup changes. What was it?
I stood by that challenge, by the way.
Belsey maybe on Wednesday. Because we're going through who's better. I think he called Chris Knobloch a better tacticianer than Paul Maurice. Yeah.
Right.
So it's like
That's
Chris
big.
Knobloch is
Chris Knobloch has proven to be consistently correct in his decision making, his roster changes, lineup changes. Sometimes you'd be left scratching your head. Ultimately, he turned out to be right about Jeff Skinner. Mm-hmm. Right? He sussed that out pretty quick. Right?
Yeah.
it's a different sus
Yeah.
than their sus.
Well, I was using it correctly.
Yeah, you're using like proper English sus.
Yes.
There's
What other way is
think-
there, Matthew?
their sus.
No. Okay.
Younger generation sus.
yeah.
That's sus.
It's not
No,
our
I mean
sauce.
he's making, and here's an interesting one that came in from Coach Mike. If you want to do you want to transition to tonight's game?
Yeah, that's what we're talking now here.
Okay. He said prediction for tonight: Panthers look gassed at the end of the game.
Yes.
And I agree with that, and I think that was a little bit of panic by Paul Maurice on Wednesday night.
Where?
At the end of the game and into overtime, he stopped rolling his lines, especially his defensive pairings. And the spread, top to bottom, from their top defenseman to the bottom, was quite drastic, whereas the Oilers was rather tight. That over a series will catch up with you.
Yes.
And even their 4th line, I mean, they essentially stopped using them in the overtime.
Well, one player got hurt,
True, but
and I forgot his name. But I don't know. I don't think he came back in the game.
But the Oilers,
So that would have messed with their lineup.
Gadjevich?
I think so. There's
the
one. I remember
Oilers-
one guy. He left the ice,
Okay.
and I looked down, and he was 4th liner, and I don't recall if I saw him come back on the ice in that game.
Their whole 4th line had 9 minutes or under.
And I wonder if that was part of it. Was all of a sudden they have an injury, and they're not used to. They all might as well just go 3 lines as
But a
opposed
little
to
bit
mixing these other
and
two.
a little bit of double shifting as well, right? Trying to find a way.
well, but if you're doing if you're chasing that game, it's going to be hard to win against the Oilers because they do stick to it pretty consistently. They'll make adjustments and they'll load up and put Leon and Connor for stretches, but for the most part, they're rolling out 4 lines. And Luke Gazik was on the Reed Wilkins show yesterday, and he said not only does that catch up with you as the series goes on, but that's hard to ask somebody that's been sitting there for quite a while or not in the mix
right.
to come in and be thrust into a game that's moving that fast, where the Oilers guys are just moving and that's a credit to Chris Knobloch. I mean, he trusts. And the players, to be more importantly,
Well, it's easy
I guess
when
the players.
you can trust those players when they're playing as well as.
But
they
I mean, you have a 4th line in Podkolzin, Arvidsson, and Janmark that very easily could be considered your third line. But that's good. That's a good problem to have.
Well, and a good comparison for this Oilers team right now is like your classic early 90s, even like early 2010s Montreal Canadiens teams, right? You can fire on all four lines. You're not depending on Connor McDavid and Draisaitl to be your stars, superstars night in, night out. You're not depending on them to win the game for you. No, you know you have enough depth that you can score on any line. Kapanen has been crazy. Podkolzin has been a great addition to this team. So you take a look at these lines. I'm not worried about this team losing any game, any period. They do. They tend to lose periods, sure. Down
Period
2-1. Yeah. Period. Yeah. That's
Second
actually
period last game was not their period.
No.
And that came off like a shotgun at the start of the second period. It was clear that Florida wanted to take over that game.
And that's where I wondered, did they get tired in that moment because of how much they used in that second
Could
period,
be.
because of how fast or is this a case, I know Big Uke threw it out there yesterday when we were discussing it, is this a team that has just been to the Cup final 2 years in a row and it's catching up to them?
No cap. For real.
Like, which one would it be? And
Well, Matt, there's something to be said about that because they came out in the second period with a 2-1 lead. Then they went ahead and Sam Bennett scored pretty soon.
And then there was an unlucky moment because there was, I think, 2 Florida Panthers that tripped on the ice, like stumbled on that ice. And that's when the Oilers went the other way and scored. Because I remember I was like, that's unlucky. And then the Oilers scored. I was like, bad goal by Bobrovsky.
Yeah, but to answer, Podkolzin did a great job of creating traffic in front of the net and obscuring his vision as well.
Awful goal.
Yes.
If that was Stuart Skinner.
I mean, but positionally,
He would've got destroyed by Oilers
he was
fans.
positionally where he should be. It just squeaked through. What are you going to do? But that could have been a bit of a backbreaker, I think, for that club. Going up 3-1, thinking, because usually at that point, Florida suffocates teams.
Yeah.
They got the answer returned quite quickly and on a subpar goal.
Right, but then they kept coming after that.
Sure.
And that's where I point to Stuart Skinner, made some amazing saves.
Yes.
And the Panthers could have made that 4-2, 5-2 pretty well quickly in that second period, and Skinner didn't allow it.
Right. But the Oilers then kept coming, and then that third period was just, that was an onslaught. I mean, they outshot them 14-2. Right?
But also, like, to Maddie's point, though, and sorry, Jay, I didn't mean to cut you off, but how often do we also see where a team comes out hot for the first period or the second period, and you see that gassing effect in the third period? Do you think that happened in the third this time around, Jay?
It very well could have. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that happened. Was it just the Oilers said, well, the hell with this, we're going to take over the game? I mean, it's hard to think that there wasn't a bit of both, maybe.
Yeah.
That the Oilers said, okay, we've got
turn
them
it
right
on.
where we want, so to speak, because the Oilers could have easily won that game in regulation.
Yeah.
Like they could have. The end of the third period was Sergei Bobrovsky's show. I mean, he was pressured and shot. I mean,
brilliant.
it was incredible.
He led him 4 goals, but he was great.
Yeah, but that's just it.
He's the
Oilers.
X factor for that team as far
That's
as
the
I'm
Oilers
concerned.
right now.
It's not Makachuk this year.
I mean, that was said about Aiden Hill. That was said about Ottinger. Like, well,
But it's not the same.
But here's
Watching
the thing.
Bobrovsky was different.
Do you think so?
Aiden Hill had a bad Wild series and then came into Edmonton, and there was zero confidence watching him play. Jake Ottinger, there was no confidence. Like watching him and being even just in person and watching him, you just knew the Oilers were going to beat him. Bobrovsky was just making some very confident saves in that game. There was just something that was coming from that Panthers crease that I went, the Oilers have not faced a goalie like this in these playoffs. He's on another level, but they also can beat him though. They did it last year, and they did it already in game 1. But Bobrovsky's not a guy that they're going to get easy goals against, outside of the one that they got.
Then what is there to expect tonight? Like, I mean, is
I don't know.
Is this another drag him out in the street, have a line brawl, like punch him out,
I
4-4 overtime, 5-4 win? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see, like, the Panthers. They're cheapish, if you will, weaselly, if you will. We'll see how much that continues and where the refs go. Within the first period, they called a bunch of penalties. The rest of the game, they put the whistles away.
Well, one was handed to them on the.
Well, you can't do anything on that. Like, that has to be a call. And then there was the high stick on Draisaitl. Like, those were calls that had to be made. But beyond that, second, third period, there was some other calls that could have been made. Like, Kapanen should have had an interference call at one point. They just let it go. Like, second and third periods, they let them play. What are the refs tonight going to be like? What are they going to allow? How much do... Like, the Panthers are a fast hockey team, but how much do they try to spread that out for a whole game as opposed to, you know, using it a lot in the second period and have nothing third? What adjustments are they going to make? I don't know what to make because I don't think the Oilers have played a team that's as good as Florida these entire playoffs. It's not even close. So,
you don't think Vegas scratched at that level of competition?
No,
I do. I think they did.
Watching these two teams,
at times,
maybe at times, Florida's just.
I think LA at times. To be honest,
Florida
with
was
you,
their best competition.
LA at times looked.
Yeah,
pretty
next up, I would say LA.
Yes.
Next up, I would say LA. Like that LA series, you know, they start up by 2. Momentum was on their side. The Oilers had to get it out the mud.
Yes,
that's as you know, 2000s, 1990s folks would say here. Yeah, they had to get it out the mud, and that was also the hardiest that team has looked as well. The Edmonton Oilers. You know, there's a lot of things that had to go right for them, and they somehow pulled it off. But LA had their number. They had their number. And then they lost it.
As these playoffs have gone on, the LA Kings and their roster looks better and better.
Right.
They keeps, and then that's like Ken Holland does not need to go make big moves in LA.
No.
Like they're the one team that the Oilers have not destroyed. You could talk about maybe the idea of them destroying the Calgary Flames from beating them, the Vancouver Canucks. You can now make a claim for the Dallas Stars.
Yep.
You can't make it about the LA Kings.
No.
And I actually think they were the best competition. But watching Dallas, watching Vegas, you just knew the Oilers were going to do really well in those series.
Well, see, also
Florida's just a completely different team. That I just think that this is a much different team, and I can see Florida coming out winning 3-0 tonight. That's how good they look.
Toronto Maple Leafs took the Florida Panthers to 7, and I know that there's some animosity towards these Leafs, but we do have to admit the Toronto Maple Leafs were also the biggest challenge for the Florida Panthers, just like the LA Kings were for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, I think that just shows you a bit about the lack of depth in the Eastern Conference as opposed to the Western Conference, particularly this playoff series.
Maybe.
I mean, New Jersey, really?
Yeah, but I watched
Even
Dallas
Carolina.
and Vegas, and right now I'm sitting there really to those two teams.
Why do you not give any respect to Vegas? I thought Vegas was a tough task.
I don't think they were as tough as LA. I'll say that.
I don't think that they.
I just think that
If they got past the Oilers, they were not getting to the Cup final. Like
here's-
they weren't. Looking back on that series, like they got lucky to get one win.
Okay, maybe I should rephrase it by saying maybe we're not, and trust me, Reed and I have asked ourselves this plenty of times. Mm-hmm. Are we not giving this Edmonton Oilers team enough credit and saying that they take really good teams and make them look normal?
Yeah, they deserve that, but I think we also saw that the Oilers and the Panthers are on a different level compared to everyone else in hockey.
Fair enough.
They are on
but this
another
is the Stanley Cup
pedestal.
final.
Absolutely, but I wouldn't have said that last year.
I know.
I don't think I would have said the Oilers are on such a different level from everyone else in the Western Conference. This year, it's the Panthers and the Oilers, and then there's a step down to everyone else.
But I'm not asking you to say that for last year. I'm asking you to say it for this year's team. This year's team and last year's team are completely different.
Right, but I'm putting the
Physically,
Panthers.
mentally,
But the Panthers
everything.
are like the Panthers are that much better than the Golden Knights too. The Panthers would have made do with the Golden Knights and the Stars as well. They would have if either of those teams somehow got to a Cup final, which they won't with the way they are. The Panthers would win those series in 5, if not 4. I don't. From what I saw from the Golden Knights, and they have no physicality. That forecheck that the Panthers have going up against the Stars.
Yeah, it's legit.
The Stars wouldn't have been able to do anything in that series. So it's not like, the Oilers caused that without question, but at the same time, they're not built to go win Stanley Cups. And that's why, to me, the Panthers, though, are, and they're on another level than those teams. So I could disrespect the Golden Knights and I could disrespect the Stars because I will give credit to the Panthers and say this is why it's different for the Oilers. Oilers deserve credit for what they did to those teams, but they're also now going up against a different beast compared to those two teams. And look, they still, I think, could beat the Panthers in 5. But I will still say the Panthers are a quality hockey team, deserving of a Stanley Cup.
Absolutely. That's a great explanation. But what if the Panthers gave the Oilers their best game
Yeah.
in game one? What if that's the best game the Panthers can play? And the Oilers just said, well, the hell with that. We're going to spit on it and take this home in overtime.
If the Panthers play like that again, I could see the Panthers winning that hockey game still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the
As
second
if it's
period,
a toss-up?
It's in the second period, they could have taken that early lead. They missed a lot of shots. Like, they didn't even hit the net at points. What if they have in that game that it's their best, but they are just a little crisper on their shots, and they take a 4-1 or a 5-1 lead in that game, or 4-2, 5-2? Do the Oilers come back? If they're protecting a 2-3 goal lead going to the third period, does that 31-0 record move to 32-0 as opposed to 31-1? If that's the best the Panthers have, that's capable of winning a couple games in this series. 100% still to me.
Couple games.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that that's necessarily going to go win the cup.
Yeah.
But, like, I think the best that I saw from the Stars, I don't think it's beating the Oilers in a lot. The Golden Knights, the best that I saw from them, I don't think it was beating the Oilers.
I think that for the Oilers, simplifying, just keeping that simplification of their game in mind,
Yeah.
and on the the forefront of their game is important.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the first goal, and that was a huge point as well, is how early that first goal came. Simple shot by Jake Wallman from the point. Bing, bang, boom. It's in the back of the net. I mean, the tying goal by Ekholm, this is just a drive to the net, put the puck in front, put the puck in a dangerous area, and Ekholm pots it. Say what you want if that was a pass to Ekholm or Kane. Connor was just putting it in a spot where it was dangerous, right? That's the game. But I will say, that's the hardest that D-Corps has been forechecked this entire postseason. That was phenomenal. And that's not going anywhere. But I thought they handled it pretty well. Bouchard had a couple Bouchard moments that Oilers fans have not seen in the past two series as much.
But you got to expect those moments, right?
You do, but they're overcoming it. That's the thing. They're able to overcome that and clamp down as a team. And ultimately, I mean, you could say all you want about that game. It's 1-0 in the series for the Oilers, right?
Yeah. That's the stat that you look at. It's 1-0. We got an even bigger game tonight.
Yeah.
That's
the most important game of the Oilers season is just going to keep being the next game,
Yeah.
right?
I know, but I asked Reed this yesterday, and I understand that the most important game right now is next game.
yeah.
But is there a little bit extra spice on tonight's game for Florida?
No.
Or do you think that Florida can go back? And I get it. They did this with Toronto.
That's why.
It's happened
and
before.
And the Oilers aren't Toronto.
I know, but the Oilers aren't Toronto, man.
I know, but I think for Florida, you're not thinking that way.
You're know
Florida.
that. They know that.
But if you're in a pro athlete, you're thinking about how good you are.
Yeah.
And I think if you're Florida and you go down 0-2, you don't want that. Like, there is pressure on the Panthers. You don't want to be down 0-2 to this Oilers team. But I think inside the back of your mind, you can sit there and go just a couple series ago. And as Scout said, our hardest series of the playoffs so far, we were down 0-2. We went home. We got the 2. And we made a best of 3. I think that, and that's why I do like being the road team to start.
Less pressure in that sense.
It's the same thing with the LA Kings series for the Edmonton Oilers. It's one of those where even if worst case you go down 0-2, you always know I'm going home. Yeah. We're going home, and a series isn't over until the home team loses.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So there is some pressure to the Panthers on that one as well. But to me also there's pressure on the Oilers because you also don't want to lose home ice. Now, if you're the Oilers, you're feeling good going to Florida that you're going to be able to split down there too. But you also don't want to have to all of a sudden, Florida in theory has home ice now at that point. So there's still that. So maybe that adds to a little spice tonight. But I think Florida, and Smitty the Wilder got mad yesterday with this, but the Oilers are better than the Leafs. Sorry.
Giver.
The Oilers are better than the Leafs. But I don't think the Panthers would think that. I think the Panthers would sit there and go, because if roles were reversed, and the Oilers were in Florida and they went down 0-2 coming back, we would be saying, well, the Oilers did it against LA. We wouldn't be like, well, Panthers aren't LA. That's how the Panthers are going to feel.
But major point here, and it's something that seems to be forgotten at this point. Very easy to forget things that happened a year ago. But the Edmonton Oilers were down 0-3.
Yeah.
They were down 3 wins. Florida could have clinched, 4 times in a row. They got it on the 4th. But a lot of this core and a lot of this team has been in some of the worst scenarios, even in the Stanley Cup final, right? There's a confidence. There's a confidence, and it's oozing throughout that building right now. Rogers Place, it's electric. Florida Panthers do have to come out hot and heavy tonight if they want to get a win. Like, you're talking about 1 to 2 goals, just like the Oilers did in game 1, right? Game 2, the Florida Panthers kind of need a game like that if they want to win. We obviously don't want that here in Edmonton. But if they want any hope in hell, in my opinion, I think they need to come out with 2 goals real quick in that first period. And if they don't, I think the Edmonton Oilers got it.
Benny, you might be able to help with this one. When was the last time the Oilers gave up the first goal in the playoffs? Because they didn't do it against Dallas.
They didn't
once.
do it against Dallas.
They didn't do it in this game.
LA?
Vegas.
Was it, do you remember which game?
Game.
I'm trying to remember now.
Game 5 was a 1-0 win. Game 4 was a 3-0 shutout. Game 3, Corey Perry opened the scoring. Game 2, maybe it was game 1 against Vegas. I know Mark Stone opened the scoring. No, the Oilers made a comeback in game 2 to win in overtime, I believe.
Yeah.
So it was game 2.
It was 1-0 in the first, then the Oilers scored in the second. So it's been all the way back to game 2 of the second round.
Wild.
That the Oilers haven't scored first in a game.
Wild.
Which now I'm not worried about the Oilers coming back. So don't. But how are the Oilers going to react if they give up that first goal? Maybe that's the moment and that's to your point. The Panthers need to get to 2. I think the Oilers will sit there and just be like, we got more time to come back. That's fine.
Exactly. The comeback kings. This team, even going back to last year, this team is a bunch of comeback
Although,
kings.
who's the better comeback king right now? Was it the Indiana Pacers or is it the
Oh,
Edmonton
don't even
Oilers?
go there. Flipping.
They screwed my bets.
Matt,
I had,
don't even
and I'm not
talk
gonna
to
lie.
me.
And
Okay, I'm going through a hard time with Jay's play of the day.
No.
And you,
Well,
you had to throw that in my face because I wanted to take the Pacers
I
yesterday.
had a lock shot parlay from a couple days ago, and I was going to take the Pacers to cover.
You talked me out of taking the Pacers
because
yesterday.
the guest I had, he
Well,
said,
screw your guest!
I know, I'm not happy.
I saw that, I'm like, damn you, Matty!
Matt Humans are like he just brought up the stat that against the spread, the underdog in game 1 of the NBA Finals,
Who
whatever.
name him?
Matt Humans, I said.
Yeah.
Decent. He was like 1-11 or 1-12. It was a ridiculous stat because I was thinking as I was going again, I'm like, I'm going to take the Pacers to cover at the very least. I'm not going to take them
That's
to win.
what I said.
But they're going to cover. And then this guest said that. I'm like, well, I'm flipping. And my parlay was Oilers game 1 money line. Rough Riders -3.5. Check. And then I had the Thunder. And if I had the Pacers there, I would have won my bet and the lock shop parlay would have hit. So I know this, Jay. I'm with you, Jay. I'm filling in the lock shop. I'm trying to fill in for Dusty here. And one of my lock shop parlays has already fallen.
Okay, so here's what happened yesterday. I'm getting my play of the day ready, and I'm like, Matt, I really think like Indiana's pretty good. I think they can at least cover. I didn't say anything about a win.
No,
I wasn't that arrogant.
just cover.
I just
Try
said,
to
I
cover.
think it's at 9.5. Like,
Yes.
So I go in there and I'm like, I think that's. What do you think? Because I always check with Matty. He gives me the smell
Usually I
test
say
pretty
nothing.
quick. Yeah. If he says nothing, then I usually stay with it.
Yeah.
But he did say something, and he said, "Well, just so you know, I just had this guest on, and he said that the underdog is 1-11 in covering the spread in game 1." So I'm like, okay, well, I guess we ride with OKC.
It was looking so good through 3 quarters. It was like right at 11. I was like, perfect.
At one point, it was like 15 and 14, and then
Then I was hoping overtime because maybe the Thunder could go on a run in overtime and win this.
So I'm going to just trust my gut. I'm looking because I got to come up with Jay's play of the day. I've had good, I guess.
I got a really fun lock shop parlay coming up on the lock shop. By the way, Penny's going to join me on the lock shop to start for a bit. We're going to talk some Oilers and we're going to talk some gold.
We could try build this. I know we want to talk some CFL.
We will get to the CFL as well.
But we could try build this. Like,
stay away from my lock shop parlay. You know what it is.
I know I'm not doing that.
Just making sure.
Don't copy the homework.
By the way, as you're thinking about Play Alberta, download the app, playalberta.ca, EST specials. Dusty's early bird bet and play of the day are up. Oilers to win, McDavid 2+ points, Bouchard 1+ point, Draisaitl 1+ point. That is boosted +300. His play of the day is Corey Perry 1 point at +100.
See, I'm looking at Corey Perry right now over 0.5 points.
So that's already Dusty's play of the day.
Okay, then I'll move on to Bouch. Bouch over.
What about a Nuge assist?
So Bouch 1 or more points, and Nuge
Are you going to build a parlay or just a play here?
1 or more points. Well, I can't do it on a parlay. I want to build a same game parlay, so I can take. Okay, what do you think? I'm thinking Bouch. I'm sticking with my gut. I'm going Bouch 1 point.
Well, Big Uke does say got to stick with your gut, GG. Never overthink bets.
Yeah.
That's when you lose more often than not. And me too. Should have stuck with the damn Pacers.
Yeah, 100%. Shame on me. I
I feel bad for you, Jay, too. My apologies.
I made an ass of myself.
Also, the den is apparently getting wild today. Are you guys doing what you said at the end of the lock shop yesterday and doing a silly one for weekends? Because I'm fascinated by what you guys come up with then. They were thinking at the end of the lock shop yesterday, coming up with like the biggest underdogs going into the weekend and just putting them together and see.
Okay, what do you think about this? What do you think about this for a same game parlay? Boosh over a point, Nuge a goal.
Ooh, that's bold. I would just stick with goal of a Nuge at that point or something.
Yeah.
Or a Boosh point or something. Like a Nuge goal is, how many goals does he have these playoffs?
6, 5.
I'll put it together. It's hard. The same game parlay, I like to have my laptop. Should I go get my laptop?
I don't know why you guys like this is why your old generation doesn't understand new lingo. You guys can't even do things on your phone.
My wife sends like business texts on her phone, and I'm like, why are you doing that?
Like it's not
You
hard.
need to use a laptop. I'm this old. So
I
Nuge-
write our Shotgun Sports articles on my phone, by the way. I write articles on the phone.
Rip City Step says Boosh over 0.5 power play points is always good odds. I'm going to get my laptop. Let's
Here we go.
What
Here we
an
go.
old man. Just such an old man. It's the same as Dusty can't even send in the bets through his phone, apparently. He can only do it on his desktop. Just these people these days. This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage and your quick choice for Edmonton Sports, Edmonton Sports Talk. EST proudly presented by Play Alberta. We got Scout from the Elks Call with you here. Matt, Jay, Benny, the intern on the other side of the glass. Portions of this hour of the Hangout are brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of EST. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, highproductmarketing.com. Lock Shop coming up today. We've got the Oil Stream, Reed and Gager on the Oil Stream today. EST afternoons, the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne until 5 o'clock. Kind of the EST afternoons and the Reed Wilkins Show mixing for the Oil Stream today. The Reed Wilkins Show will go till 5 o'clock today, though, because at 5 we will have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Tommy live at the Ice House with Hernan. He'll be back here. They'll get you set for game 2. 12 hours of coverage right here on EST. The most pregame coverage you'll find in the city. Well, largely, we will be shifting to the Elks for a little bit coming up here as their whole season opener gets going tomorrow at BC, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Edmonton Elks and their big season coming up. Tomorrow on EST as well, 10 o'clock, we've got Hello Hockey. 8 o'clock on Sunday morning, we do got the VIP Golf Show with Murray McCourt and Curtis Stock, as the Oilers will be back in action after game 2. They'll fly out to Florida, and that gets going on Monday. Triumph, Glorious Sons, 340. 340, 350?
340.
340.
Lay it on the line.
There you go.
As if we haven't heard it enough. And you know what's interesting about that? I will say, shout out to Rogers for stopping that commercial for a couple weeks so that everybody could miss that song again. I mean, I know some people still don't miss it, but I'm very thrilled. If I can make it down there for some Triumph, I will be down there.
If I have one issue with Canadian television, it's we just replay the same commercials over and over and over and over and over again.
No
and I'm fine with
cap.
them.
No cap. They slay.
They don't anymore.
They don't say.
It's like I could have lived with that lay it on the line if it wasn't every commercial break. There used to be a Burger King commercial that would be on during like the CFL season.
Right.
And it was, what is it? I can't remember their tagline at the end, but it was just like, oh my God, this again. Just can we
Whopper,
not
Whopper, Whopper, Whopper. That's that
But
one.
it's the how it ends.
Yeah.
BK, have it your way. Or like I don't.
BK, have it your way.
You rule. That's what it is. And I'm
yeah.
just like tired of it at some point. Jay, what are you doing?
I love Burger King.
Putting together a SGP. Same game parlay, bro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
No way,
bruh.
No way, bruh.
He's got the drip.
You know what's odd, though, is that I don't think, at least I haven't seen or heard on social media, that people are sick of the Keanu Reeves Rogers commercials.
Because you can't make fun of or pick on Keanu Reeves. He's a Canadian treasure.
I have not seen it.
Yeah, you have.
I do not.
Where he's eating the Neapolitan ice cream and he's telling the little penguins not to go there.
Nope.
In the dark.
Yeah,
Nope.
on his
Or he's
computer.
hopping
Video
from
game and
computer
he's
to
on
TV
the-
to.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't recall it.
You're lying.
Seriously, don't recall it.
That's cap. That's cap.
I don't
That's
recall
not
it.
right.
I honestly don't recall it.
You-
I'm actually.
you'll see
I'm
it.
very good at switching channels during commercials.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I also have been watching more of American television than the Canadian television recently through a certain provider.
Yes,
So I've
you
been
got the
watching.
box.
Well, I do it through my Chromecast.
Okay.
I do it differently, but it's like so. I've been watching like ESPN and TNT's coverage.
A nuge goal is plus 274, boys.
That's why I'm saying you don't throw it in the same game parlay.
No, but I'm just thinking singles. Singies.
Single play.
That's what I'm saying.
Singies.
Like
Yeah.
I think if you're doing that, I think you just leave that as your play of the day. Like you throw that into a parlay, you hit two out of 3 legs, and all of a sudden the nuge one doesn't hit. Like you might as well just play that one on its own. No, what are the bigger like the big ukes out there of the world, the degens of the world? Like what is that? Am I wrong in that mentality of that?
No, but I mean sometimes you can add in something that's relatively harmless. And you can really add to your same game parlay.
But I don't think that's harm. Like I think that's.
I know what you're saying.
I feel like I would like if you're looking for. I think it's a nuge, even to go power play assist.
What about a Wallman goal plus 1,200?
You're not throwing that in a parlay.
No.
Oh, okay.
Single shot.
Trev had that one for game 1.
I mean, he was putting pucks on net. Like he was.
Hit bodies.
Yeah.
He might have been one of the
But for him to
better
score?
defensemen on the Oilers.
Yeah.
Game
If
one.
anything, I'd rather put money on a Kapanen goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
He almost
real,
did
for
it in
real.
overtime.
That's
Like it was a nice play as he split that D and he got it and he hits the outside of that post. But I'd rather put money on a Kapanen goal for tonight.
well, and as somebody that has watched a lot of Toronto Maple Leafs, let's say that I've watched a lot of Toronto Maple Leafs in the past.
Oh,
Kapanen's only plus 41.
sorry, I got to interrupt all this. Eric, Spurs fired their manager.
Yep.
Nice title there. Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
No, but Kapanen has a certain quality. He's got some wheels. The guy is fast. The guy can score. The guy is a little bit of an X factor, I'll say. He's a game changer.
Okay, Rip City Step was right. Evan Bouchard to get 1 or more power play points tonight is plus 206.
I remember last year.
Now, you're only going to have, 2 or 3 chances at that?
I remember last year that was an easy bet when we built Oiler parlays. Like
Power
I
play
feel
hasn't been
Dusty
clicking
knew
as
that.
well as it has been.
Yeah, but that's why it's like maybe you're getting better value for it. But like,
Well, of course, that's why.
if
But
there's a goal tonight, like imagine if the Oilers score on a power play, what's the likely scenario?
yeah,
To me, it's something like Bouchard to McDavid to Draisaitl goal, or it's going to be a Draisaitl to McDavid to a bomb goal.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to go, most likely. So that's why like a Bouchard power play assist or point is a nice one. The only question is how many power play opportunities will there be in this game?
that's the real hard one here.
Is Wes McCauley reffing again? I mean, who are your refs?
Pretty sure it's same refs. For
Same refs?
the
Okay.
Whole time.
So, what did you see last game? Is that
yeah.
going to correlate?
Duck Dad says unless you're picking a Draisaitl or McKinnon or a Matthews anytime goal scorer, just play it straight up. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's where the advice for that comes.
No cap.
What did we just say? NHL ref.
Refs. I
there an
thought
account?
the linesmen were brutal in game 1. That like the amount of times they sat there and like faked puck drops and kicked guys out.
It was bad again.
Oh my god, take the cape off.
What's the NHL
No one's here to watch
account?
you.
Ref.
Okay, so then
account.
what's everybody feeling about a nude
Scouting
goal?
ref.
I could see it.
Benny?
I could see it.
I think if you're going for the play of the day,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't do anything else with it.
No, I wouldn't
would
mix with it.
Put it strictly as a nude goal.
Yeah,
He's been hot.
Is it?
Now, question for you on back to like the playing side of things. Has the Edmonton Oilers point game gotten a lot better over the last year?
Point game?
Like their points game, like shooting from the point.
Oh,
I'd like to see more of it, especially on the power play.
Yeah.
there was a few. Even this last game, there was times I was sitting there like, shoot the puck, guys.
But look at
Get the
Jake
puck on the
Wallman.
net.
Puts that net harmlessly on net, sweeps it to the net, and it bang, bang, bang. Draisaitl puts it in the back of the net.
See, that's where I would think Wallman assist. and
Yeah.
then adding him as a point instead.
What are you
What's him on a
doing?
point?
What are you doing to me? Okay, let's look for Wallman points. No power play.
Just an assist, yeah.
Just Wallman.
Yeah, so there's only 2 reffing pairs.
That's over
think that have gone
one
to
or
the
more
Stanley
is
Cup
plus
final.
176.
I think to your point, I think all Oilers defensemen are very mobile.
Yeah.
So they're very good at walking the line and getting shots through because they're so mobile.
Okay, so here's what I'm in between.
So-
A Nuge goal is going to be plus 270 something, or a Wallman point.
Do 2 singles.
I can't have. It's not Jay's plays of the day.
Play.
It's
One
Jay's
single play.
singular.
Yeah, well, I'll just throw up another bet. You have access. Have Jay's play of the day and also have the Reed Wilkins show play or something. We have
can't
full
do that.
access now.
I know,
Jay.
it's
we have full
dangerous.
access now.
I kind of do feel like pretty badass. Like just be like, oh, I'm just gonna message the team over at Play Alberta.
Well, it's cool because it's like with EST we get to build these parlays, but me, you, and Dusty are the ones with the actual direct access, and it's like we could come up with.
I wonder how soon Dusty's back that he shuts down my access. He's like, that was just a holiday thing, Jay. You're out.
Well, you got a couple chances here, Jay.
Here's a caster 1990 saying, Jay, how about a CFL bet for your play of the day? My superstitious side won't let me bet on the Oilers anymore. So there's
Okay,
something.
okay, let's say.
I will say this. I am going to work, and Jay and I are going to talk after the show. We're going to come up with something today. We're going to try to build a parlay for the Elks game tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's
And
available.
I think we should do that every game.
Yeah,
We'll build something.
and give it a day to marinate so people
if we
can get
So
on it.
right now, I think where
Let
we're
it
at
stew.
with this is Elks minus 5.5. Take the points in this one. That's where it is. Don't touch them on the money line if we're building this parlay. Trey, you weren't as maybe 190 passing yards.
We'll see what the
And
numbers
a Rankin
come up with.
touchdown.
I think it's under 200.
You think under 200?
I think under 200.
But they don't have player props.
They're working on it.
Okay.
But I think we could still offer them and they'll still try to put them up. You also had Dunbar over 40 plus. rep
Yeah,
yards.
usually the bar's 39.5 yards. I think
think it'd be a
Dunbar's
little
going to be
higher.
over that.
I think that's possible. I think that's definitely
and Justin
possible.
Rankin,
So
whatever
we're
the
going to build
number
an
is.
Elks one. We are going to
Yeah,
have an
over,
Elks one for
over.
because the Green and Gold kickoff show. I didn't even promote that one when I was promoting the whole weekend. 7 o'clock tomorrow. Jay and I will get you set for Elks and Lions. 8 o'clock. Well, it's going to be well after 8 o'clock because Stoop Dog's going to be playing. But we'll have you covered for the start of the CFL season tomorrow.
Oh, man, very excited. I'm excited for pre and post because that's become a game day tradition for us.
Well, thank you.
So, like, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll throw on a green and gold hat, play IDFWU by my good, one of my favorite artists, Big Sean. So, you know, in reference to the other team, as in middle fingers and all that. So I
Sweet.
get very amped up. And then I'll tune in to the pregame.
Thank you.
So, you guys do a fantastic job. I know that you were at Century Casino last
We will
year.
not be at Century this year. So just throwing that out there. So we will be in the studio. So there is no real moments at this point for watch parties. Sorry.
Hey, maybe we'll
Things
swing by.
didn't work
anyways.
out.
Maybe we'll swing by.
Reed said he might come watch the first half with us tomorrow.
Jeez. Watching the Oiler game with him tonight. And I got to watch the
I
Elks
know,
with
you're
him
like an
tomorrow.
old married couple.
He's going to go play
For real.
track and field. And it's going to be annoying to me. You, how are you?
I don't know. I said this yesterday.
got time to think.
I don't know about CFL right now. It's such a
It's a hard week
wild
to
card.
bet on things
Like, I don't
because
know.
you don't know where any of these teams are at.
Yeah.
I do agree with the idea of staying away if you want right now, Jay, from the CFL.
'Kay.
Go with your gut. What did we learn at the start? How did we get into this?
Yes.
It was the Pacers, and I talked you out of it.
Yeah. So that's
and
it. That's
we
what
were
it
told,
is.
Go with your gut, and your gut was saying what?
Nuge goal.
Go for it. Boom.
There. You've heard it here first. Nuge goal. It's currently at plus 274, but don't do it yet because we'll see if the good people over at Play Alberta boost
Approve
it for
Jay's
us.
play of the day.
They will approve it.
Duck Dad read my mind. That's coming up on the Lock Shop.
What?
He messaged saying, "Ooh, I have a parlay idea," and then he put out my Lock Shop parlay that I told you boys earlier. We'll talk about it on the Lock Shop later today, but
Nice.
that is
Get
coming.
I didn't get a hard confirmation that they can't do that player prop that I want to do for CFL.
They said at the moment they can't,
They said let us check.
but well, no.
I didn't get anything other than that.
So what I got was.
Oh, are you on like a different?
No, I'm in the same one. For now, we can't, but we will look into it. So at this moment, because they initially said, let us check. And usually that means if they can, they'll throw it up there. They have said that they can't do it, but they are going to look deeper if they could find a way to add it. That's what that's what I'm read from that.
Okay.
So shift, enter.
We'll give you a space.
It's going in right now.
It's going in.
Oh, you didn't have to delete it, Duck Dad. It's all good. You can throw that one out there early, but that's what will be. That's where I'm going with the Lock Shop parlay. I thought about it late last night. I'm like, we got to do that one. That's the one I'm coming up with for the Lock Shop parlay. So,
That's good stuff too, by the way. Tunes in to the Elks Call. Good stuff.
Who you guys had Trent Brown on?
Trent Brown. Trent Brown last night. The replay will be today, maybe today.
I gotta
maybe
because we do have
tomorrow.
we will have Stingers action. They're out in Montreal.
Yeah.
I got his. How do you know how long the episode was?
There's a 2 hour. It was a
Yeah,
long
so then it
one,
will
yeah.
have to. We'll throw it tomorrow then.
Sure.
Because we won't be able to fit in between.
It's not like there's a
Stingers,
big
and then-
hockey game and then
But
basketball
tomorrow
game
we've
today.
got plenty of time on the stream.
Nice.
I'll probably actually, depend 5:00 tomorrow. Lead into the kickoff show.
That'd be awesome.
Coverage of the Elks coming up here on EST.
Well, and Trent Brown, like the big reason why we wanted him on the show, and then thanks everybody for riding with us while we go through some technical difficulties over at the Elks Call with our audio. Bye week comes at a good time, as the Elks would say in the past. But yeah, Trent Brown was very, very candid about the direction of the team this time last year. He's super candid about it, right? And I mean, James H. Brown, you see their billboards everywhere. You see Trent Brown's face everywhere. Very notable. So we wanted to talk to Trent Brown about the current direction and where things are going and if he likes where things are going. So he speaks about that. He speaks on that. Excuse me. Choking. But yeah, it was really good to have him on. Really good episode. And yeah, I just ran into a 2 hour episode for once. So
Hey, and more CFL the better.
oh yeah,
You guys do a great job with the Elks Call. We've got the Turf District going on, and then so there's a lot of just great Elks coverage that's in this city. And
Totally.
it's great to see, and it's going to be a good year, I hope, for the Edmonton Elks, which we'll discuss right away here. This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada Storage experts more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life transitions. Canadian storage provider Sentinel.ca for more information on how you can get a nice, convenient storage location nearest you. Jay, Scout, Matt, Benny with you here on the Hangout. We will have our Play Alberta over under a little bit later as well here on the Hangout. But Elks tomorrow, I think depth chart's about 11 o'clock.
yeah,
which
it's gonna
makes
be
me
real
sad,
soon.
because we won't get it at the end of this show. I'm just taking a look to see if it's maybe popped into my
I haven't seen
email.
the email
It has
yet.
not come.
I have not seen the email. Exactly.
Sorry, Benny, but I'm going to have to talk about it at the start of the lock shop. I love depth chart day. It's a great day.
Oh yeah. For the most part, we know where people are at.
Yeah,
For the most part.
well, the big news that came from the injury report yesterday is Brett Boyko
Yes.
showed up and he's questionable for today.
Yes.
Or for tomorrow. So
Did not practice.
Yeah, so if Brett Boyko's not good to go, that would be disappointing. Noah Curtis is out based on the injury report, but it seems like is Jared Brinkman going to be starting? He hasn't really done much through training camp, but if he could be there, him, Serezna, Robbie Smith on that D line, that's a nice start for there.
Cohesion.
Absolutely. What is the starting receiving core?
Yeah.
But I think beyond that, we kind of know what's happening with the Edmonton Elks.
Right.
And it's not easy, but how you feeling about this Elks team right now?
Yeah, I mean, this Elks team, I think that they're going to be better than last year. Having Trey Ford, having some of these pieces here in the offseason, and especially Trey Ford getting together with Jordan Maximic and working through that offensive plan. I mean, Trey Ford seems to be putting in that extra time that maybe he was getting criticism for last year. I know that there was quite a bit of criticism on, if he may be leaving the stadium early and, these kind of things. I think that it's going to be a more cohesive unit. And I like what Ed Hervey did. If you want instant chemistry, just go get the whole freaking line. That's what he did with the defensive line, right? Mm-hmm. Jake Serezna being back, he's always been a cog here through the good years, through the bad years, and it's been mostly bad years while Jake Serezna has been here. David Beard, having him play alongside Mark Cordy once again, Martez Ivy. They have good chemistry. They're on the upswing. Can you get to that 10 or 11 win point? Can you get that amount of wins?
Based on the schedule Jay and I went to, it's yes.
Yeah.
We believe.
Yeah. I think that's what the expectation is once again. It's, in talking with the Edmonton Oilers, yeah, the expectation is get back to the Stanley Cup final. For this Edmonton Elks team, get to the playoffs. That's the expectation.
Yeah, I'll add a little more. I want in October to be talking about can they host the playoff game.
Yes.
Whether they do it or not is a different story. If they end up finishing third in the West or dropping to a crossover, fine.
Just get to that
But
conversation.
I want to be in the conversation of October of like, hey,
Yeah.
what's the path to second in the West? I'm not even going to say first in the West, second in the West. If we could be in October talking about some games coming up, like, well, they need this win and they can maybe take control of second or whatever it is. And even if they lose it, okay, we're having the conversation of them hosting a playoff game. I just want the conversation to be legit later on this season.
Well, in fun stat, the Edmonton Elks have not hosted a home playoff tailgate.
Because when did tailgating start?
2016.
Did it? Because 15 was their last home playoff game.
Correct.
And since 2006, the first year they missed the playoffs in 35 years, they've only had 3 home playoff dates.
Correct.
I stand by this. Just with all the issues that this franchise has gone through, that is the thing to look at. Since 2006, so almost 20 years, they've had 3 home playoff dates. They have not been a winning franchise.
That's not a good stat.
In almost 20 years, they have not been a winning franchise. That's the sad reality of that. 14, 15 are outliers of how bad this franchise kind of really has been. They have not started the season with a win since, I think, 2019.
Well, and Odell Willis also talked about it too. This team does best with consistency. So, like, when he was on the Elks Call, we asked, like, you know, what was special about 2015? He's like, well, 2014 was basically a mirror season. It's just that we had more penalties. We had more flags. So what did we do 14 to 15? Chris Jones at the time said, look, we're just going to eliminate the penalties. We're going to run it back. We're going to run the exact same plan. And yeah, 2014 hosted a home playoff game, Saskatchewan Roughriders. Very cold day, very fun game. 2015, you went and got the cup. So it goes to show that next year step up, you know, kind of mentality, do better than last year. Having that, you know, little instead of just trying to blow it out and be like, oh, we're gonna go for the Grey Cup. No, just do better than last year. Find some more consistency.
Yeah.
And the chemistry, with chemistry comes consistency. Right? Because you take a look at some of the people that were on the team last year. Leon O'Neill Jr., very interesting case. I believe he was released by the Edmonton Elks after he tried to punch somebody in the head. I want to say it was BC. Forget exactly which game it was, but I'm pretty sure there was he got a player misconduct, and it was a pretty nasty one, and he got cut not long after that. He was pretty choked about it. This year, he's in the UFL, and he is a top defensive player, I believe. I want to say defensive. So, yeah, you know, they've cut out certain players and cut certain guys that, you know, maybe you question. JJ Lapp, I think, was I thought he was a bit of a shoe-in to make the team. He did not. Demetrius Ford was another name this year in preseason that I thought was going to make the team. Did not quite make it. Alex Hollins. I'm sure you guys have talked about this a little bit. Alex Hollins potentially set back on the injury. Maybe that's the case. Ed Hervey has stated that he wants young wide receivers.
He liked Victor Benjamin. I think that was the big one.
Victor Benjamin, Birmingham Stallions, our counterpart down in Birmingham, Shotgun Sports Alabama, has been covering him. So cool to see him go from one league last year to our league up here. But there are some very, very interesting, I think, very interesting pieces that may pay off very well. And Benjamin Victor could be one of those.
Yes, Benjamin Victor.
Yeah, I know.
It's easy to flip it for me.
Martez Ivy was that for us last year.
Yeah.
Martez Ivy. Like we for whatever reason, he was the guy last year that we kept on.
What are you anticipating most seeing tomorrow as a storyline or as a team for this new version of the Double E tomorrow night in the season opener?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the biggest storyline, especially for the Canadian Football League, is going to be Trey Ford versus Nathan Rourke. You're hoping that it's a quarterback shootout, right? I think as a fan, you want to see Trey Ford throw more touchdowns than interceptions. I think you're hoping for that. Maybe more of a pocket passer as opposed to the scrambles, because I will even say against the BC in this preseason game, there's a couple scrambles from Trey Ford running out of the pocket, right? But yeah, I mean, if I'm watching this, I'm watching the rushing game. I think that the running backs are going to have a good day. I think that that's going to be one of the bigger storylines that I'm watching is what happens with Javon Leake and Justin Rankin. And then, of course, what can that defensive line do? Because this is the first time we're actually going to get a real look at that defensive line. And as we know with Ed Hervey, he likes to build his teams from the trenches out.
He likes the trenches and then he likes the spine.
Exactly.
And then he deals with everything else.
Yep. So, your safeties, that's going to be a big one. Quarterback, obviously. Running back, that's a big one.
I think if you look down the spine of that team, it's pretty damn impressive.
It is.
Bryce
You've got-
Metier,
yeah, Metier.
Morgan, then the lines.
How about Nick Anderson?
And then you've
Nick
got
Anderson,
Ford,
David Beard,
and then you've got
Yeah.
Trey Ford, Justin Rankin.
David
when you're
Beard
doing
back
that
at
line,
center.
what would you like? Because from a football perspective, okay, you're talking when you're singling out players. What would you look at? Who's the middle then of the line? Because there's four. Like
Good
how do
defensive tackle.
you just look at that
But
one?
it's usually on the O line. It's like a dominant player. It doesn't, or on the D line. It's like a dominant player.
You just pick the
the
one
O line.
for the
There's no
spine.
question. It is a center
Yeah.
because it is the quarterback of that O line. That's a very important role. Looking to tomorrow's game, I want to see what kind of discipline this team has.
And that was an
That's a
issue in
good one.
Calgary.
Yeah.
I don't know
wanna
the starters
see-
a lot, but that was an issue in Calgary.
Yeah, I want to see, because last year I felt it was a very undisciplined team.
Yeah.
And they kept shooting themselves in the foot time after time. And I would like to believe, I would like to have hope that under a Mark Killam team, this team is disciplined.
Yeah.
Now that's gonna show very fast and very soon tomorrow. But we also had JC Sherrod on yesterday, and I asked him what the identity of this defense is, and he said two words essentially: speed and violence.
Yeah.
And I
Sounds like
love
the
that.
50 notes.
Yes, exactly. And I felt bad for David Facu, former Double E. Nick Anderson on his first play, basically, he broke David Facu's leg. Feel bad, right? Like David Facu, former Double E. Never want to see that for any player. But Nick Anderson is coming out the gates hot. I'm gonna, if I had a Scouts play of the day on playalberta.ca, I would be saying Nick Anderson for defensive player, play of the year. Defensive player of the year. Nick Anderson. Book it.
I could see it.
Could happen.
10 tackles in one half of a preseason game. And I mean, the way he was tackling, we could see it very well from the low seats up in Commonwealth. But like, this guy's giving it his all on every single play, even though it's preseason. That's a player I'm going to get behind.
I will say you nailed the two things for me, I think, going into tomorrow, which is the running game and the D line.
Yeah.
I think like Trey's an easy answer to say what is going to be the focus of not just tomorrow, this season.
Right.
That's the easy answer that you could do for any team almost as the quarterback. If you take quarterback out of this, what are the two big things? And it's, it is the running attack. Because Jordan McSimic, the one knock I would have on him from his time at BC was he had solid running backs. He had Stanbuck last year. Prior to that, he did have James Butler. And they would abandon the run
Underutilized.
early, or then they would stop using it at all throughout the season. And you can't do that with this team, especially when you have a Rankin and a Leak. So how's he going to mix in the running attack? And then the D line, like it's we haven't seen a D line in Edmonton that's been able to get to the quarterback consistently on a regular basis.
And you saw more
like-
of that in that preseason game.
Yeah, and that just opens things up for everyone else. And Ed did a good job of bringing in players for the secondary. But how much better are their jobs going to be if Jake Serezna and Robbie Smith are right at the quarterback's face over and over and over? And, tomorrow making Nathan Rourke either scramble or run for his life, and what decisions are you going to make? And then he puts the ball up. Is Terrell Ford or somebody else going to go make a play on that? So those are the two aspects that I'm most intrigued by going into this season, taking away the quarterback. Because the quarterback's Trey. It's all on Trey now. As
Yeah.
a guy who has defended Trey, has promoted Trey, has talked a lot about Trey, there are now no more excuses going into this season.
Yep.
There are no more rationales of why, can't he be it. This is his team. This is clearly from Ed and Mark Killam. He's getting a runway to go prove that he deserves to be a starting quarterback in the Canadian Football League. He's got to go prove that. And there's going to be some growing pains still in this.
Easily.
But and he doesn't have, it's not even like we could go to, well, you're getting pulled so quickly. Like, it seems like he's going to get a leash. It's on him to go prove this now.
Well, in Hernan at the preseason game, we did run into Hernan. Shout out Hernan. Hernan, the man. He said it best. It's like, look, Trey Ford needs to make mistakes, and everybody needs to back it. Like, you can't just immediately call for Fajardo. when Trey Ford throws an interception. Because Fajardo also threw an interception as well, I believe, in that preseason game. So, bad reads are going to happen. Bad plays are going to happen. Bad games are going to happen. But you got to ride with Trey Ford. This is his team now. We're truly giving him the opportunity to be the quarterback that he can be. The number one complaint is where, I guess, not criticism, but observation, let's say. Observation. We don't know what Trey Ford's ceiling is. We've said this. We've heard this so many times. We don't know what the ceiling is. This is the year. You'll find out. You will find out as long as you give him, A, the opportunity, and B, the health.
Well, you also don't know what his floor is.
You don't know what his floor is, and that's the scary part of it.
That's more concerning to me than his ceiling.
I'll tell you right now, his floor is not worse than Taylor Cornelius's.
Oh,
That's just terrible to bring that up.
No, but he's 9-9 as a starting quarterback. Damn it, Alex. You look at the last number of seasons, he's won way more games than any other quarterback in that time.
Trey Ford has that.
So I have a better idea of what his floor is than what I do his ceiling is.
Valid point.
Yeah, that may be true. This team lives and dies by Trey Ford. If Trey Ford is average, this team's not going to make the playoffs or certainly won't host a game. Trey Ford needs to be consistently good.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be great. He'll have his flashes of brilliance. Yeah. I understand that. But he needs to be consistently good.
Yeah.
The floor of Trey Ford in my eyes right now at this moment is a guy that can beat bad teams and a guy that's going to lose to good teams, which puts you 6, 7, 8, 9 wins in that range. Can he become a better quarterback and put you in the 9, 10, 11, 12 range, though, is what we need to see this season.
That's what we think.
That's you look at he's a guy over the last few seasons, he can go beat, the Calgary Stampeders. He's a guy that I believe that could go beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the last years. Now, there's a lot more parity this year, so I don't know who's the good teams and who are the bad teams this season.
Yeah.
But that's what I see from Trey. He's a guy that's going to go beat the bad teams. But can he go beat the Montreal Alouettes? Can he go beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers? That's where a Taylor Cornelius, for instance, he couldn't beat anyone. Yeah. MBT struggled against a lot of teams, but then he did beat in the end the Calgary. I think he only beat Calgary last year.
Taylor Cornelius sure threw a great ball to the dirt.
Yep.
He could throw at anybody's foot like nobody's business.
Hook.
That's terrible.
His worst, the problem I had with Taylor Cornelius was he'd throw a 10-yard ball like he was throwing a 60-yard ball.
Yeah.
Like the receiver's right at the receiver as hard as possible. You're like, how about a little touch?
Yeah.
Just maybe take a little bit off of that 10-yard throw so the receiver has time to catch it as opposed to when you're throwing a 60-yard ball.
I'll say MBT had a bit of that problem too. Like balls, especially in those first couple games, balls in and out of the hands of receivers. Like Geno Lewis goes to make a great diving play, but the ball was thrown that freaking mock chicken. Mm-hmm. We don't need to throw it that hard and that fast, right? We get it. You're getting it into the window, and I'll say too, with the Double E last year, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot more pressure, I would say, last year than this year, because fans were upset for various reasons.
Well, the other pressure that came last year was self-inflicted by Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, yes.
By bringing in MBT and saying we want to win. The goal, we're winning. It's about win now mode. It's only about winning. And the moment you lose a game, I thought it's about winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was, he put a little extra spotlight on we have to go win, and then you start 0-7. It's not really
and with
good
Chris
for
Jones's
right now,
teams, I think what was frustrating too is especially when you hear from Odell that, 2014 to 2015 was all about just fixing the penalties. But you look at those years of Chris Jones here in Edmonton, round 2, GM and head coach and defensive coordinator, some of the most undisciplined teams. You could tell where you're trying to do everything all at once and you're losing scope of the individual jobs.
That's why I like that Mark Killam's got no coordinator.
Exactly. No special teams, which a lot of people thought he was coming in as a special teams as well.
And I'm assuming he's still going to help out with special teams. Some of his ideas are going to come up there, but it's not his job.
Yeah.
He is there to be the head coach. So if a player does come and make a mistake, he doesn't have to worry about calling the next player or whatever.
No.
He can call that player off the field and lay into them if he needs to, or do whatever he needs to send the message of discipline, because he is not a coordinator.
Can I ask you something, Matt?
No, I don't answer questions.
Why haven't you thrown any of your little thingies at the camera today?
I forgot to at the Hive. Because I've also started putting them here and I'm not holding them as much. So I've done the Hive one.
Boom.
That seemed aggressive.
I haven't read Sentinel. I need
your
to read
seat.
2 Sentinels. I did read 2, actually. Never
Yeah,
mind.
boom, done.
I haven't read this one yet.
Tiger caught that one.
The official drink of the EST Hangout is the Finnish long drink. Legend of 1952, a drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor. Longdrink.com/Canada.
Oh, jeez.
Legend of
Until,
1952, the Finnish
postal
long
code
drink.
and find a liquor store and establishment nearest you with the long drink. They are available also at OO Rogers Place, so the partnership with OEG, so you can get it if you're off to the Oilers game tonight. With that, I actually do want to get to Play Alberta over under. Brought to you by Play Alberta. Download the app today. Visit playalberta.ca. Make your bets count for you and everyone else with the Play Alberta app with hundreds of player prop bets on the biggest leagues, you name it, from the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB. You're not just playing for fun, you're playing to support your province. Use promo codes EST Casino when you deposit 20 or more for a $50 casino bonus, or EST Sports when you deposit 20 or more for a $50 free sports bet. Here's my over and under for tomorrow. Rankin League combined 12.5 carries.
Easily.
Over under
Over.
12.5 combined.
Flipping better be over.
Yeah.
If it's not over,
What's the number
what's the number?
that it needs to be?
Should be over 20.
You think over 20?
Yes.
I was going to say 17 to 20.
It's probably if you actually put together a proper spread over under, like on Play Alberta, it'd probably be 17.5, 16.5. But
Hey, if I set it at 16.5, what do you think we'll see tomorrow? 16.5 is my number. What we will see.
what we will, I don't know, Matt.
That's my concern about McSimmick.
What I
right
hope
now. It's over.
is over. This team needs to run the ball 20 or more times. You're going to see a stat.
What happened in BC? Last
Trust me, you will
saying
see a
18.
stat. If this team is winning, they're running the ball.
Yeah.
If this team is losing, they're not running the ball. It's not rocket science. I understand the CFL is a passing league, but if you can run the ball and establish the run, it opens up the passing game so much more. Please, Jordan McSimmick,
Last year,
run the damn ball.
when the second game in Edmonton, BC came to Edmonton, Trey was 6 of 6 for 96 yards, then got hurt. MBT was 14 of 18 for 171 yards, a touchdown, and interception. There was no Kevin Brown because he was hurt, I think, going into that game. Javon Leake, 21 carries for 97 yards and a touchdown.
There it is.
Justin Rankin, 7 carries for 77 yards.
That's
Yes.
28
It was 28
combined.
combined.
Yeah.
Combined. And if I do my math here, 174 yards.
Which that's why
That's a nice rushing attack.
I'm interested to see the depth chart for punt and kick return.
It's got to be Javon Leake.
I think it's
Well,
Javon.
kick
Leake.
return for sure, Javon Lee.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about punt return.
Why not?
It doesn't necessarily translate.
In
like-
what way? What did he not do it in Toronto?
He was kick returning, I know, but punt return's a different animal. Like, you need to have somebody that can catch the ball.
But he was listed as that for the preseasons.
Was Arkell Smith in there? I wanna
He, I think,
say?
did a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if he can be
Could you have
confident
Rankin?
back there and secure the ball,
That's
yeah.
the one that you have Rankin.
Like, I'd
You could start an offensive possession with Rankin.
You could. Now Rankin is a CJ Gable type. Right? They're two completely different running
Thunder and
backs.
Lightning.
Exactly.
As Rankin told us.
Yeah. Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah.
Rankin said the nickname's Thunder and Lightning.
I love it.
Because Jay asked about the 2 different attacks at Fandom.
Well, yeah, and he's that ground pound, get
He's
the
up the middle, north-south
get
almost.
the thighs
Javon
going.
Lee could go east-west and blow you for
Exactly.
speed.
I think they're going to find creative ways to get Javon Leake the ball on the edge.
Yeah.
To get him outside and spring him, whether it's counter sets, whether it's an inside screen,
Pass to the flats.
just get him in space with the ball because he's lethal. That speed is lethal.
Well, the one thing is they have, how many starters were we expecting? I think 10 starters that are Canadian. Mm-hmm. So you can take out a Canadian starter at a point. You could have Justin Rankin and Javon Leake on the field at the same time.
Have a Justin Rankin block.
You could put imagine Trey Ford with Justin Rankin and Javon Leake behind him.
Where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna go?
Well, what are you gonna do as a defense if
Yeah.
you have to look at the backfield and you go, Trey can run the football, Rankin can run the football, Leake can run the football, all in different ways. How do you prepare for that as a defense?
What's the spy do? Yeah.
That's the one where
It puts pressure on your defense for sure.
I hope McSimmick finds ways that he has all 3 out there on the
Well,
field.
if he's as genius and a math
Yes.
scientist as everybody says he is, then he better find a way.
And
to
not
use
all the
it.
time. Mix it up, change it.
No.
But they should be on the field together for a fair number of snaps more, especially with the fact that you don't have to worry about the ratio at that point because you have so many Canadians.
The other thing you don't have to worry about too is film. Like, sure, there's a little bit of film out from the preseason games, but you know that those aren't the full game plan, right? They're not going to give up all their secrets within the first 2 preseason games.
What I don't want to see is a really conservative approach. You know, it's 2nd and 8, and you throw a 3-yard out.
I hate those. I saw
hate
Trevor
that,
Harris
yeah.
through it. And I've seen a few yesterday, but there was a
Let's go.
2nd and 10. He threw 5
know,
yards and I get upset at those.
Take shots
But
downfield.
do you expect, like, I feel like I'm expecting a more conservative game tomorrow. I'm expecting the playbook to slowly open up, and I don't think we're going to see all craziness tomorrow. That's my assumption.
Think
I
first
don't,
half at
I
least.
don't know. I don't agree with that. I think if
Well, I hope
you're,
you're right
you're
from an
coming through
entertainment
camp,
perspective.
you're ready to go with a full playbook. You may not have this is geared for this defense that they're facing tomorrow in BC, but I want to see different levels attacked and not just flats, out, hooks. Attack the center of field. Put pressure on those safeties. Put Stephen Dunbar in a position to be an athlete and get into the middle, find those windows and sit in those holes and just nickel and dime them all day. And after they're sick of getting Stephen Dunbar, hit Javon Leak in a flat and let him go. Oh, and then by the way, you can go a counter trade at Justin Rankin on the short side. I mean, they have so many capabilities. Do it. Use them.
EST Afternoons host Hernan Sales texts me and says Leak had 4 punt return touchdowns in 23.
Let's go.
Interesting.
So,
That's what
I
we'll
mean, last year it was a ball security thing at the start of the year that I think cost him. That's why I said on the punt, as long as he can handle the
Well, he
the
did
ball,
he fumbled on a run as a running back too
yeah.
Yeah.
in that first game against Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
And then he figured out how to hold on to that football. So it's just exciting to see what this team potentially could do on paper. Now, can they translate that onto the field is a different thing.
Man, and we've talked about that so many times over the years, and I think that's the frustrating thing because this team has always looked good for the last couple of years. They've looked good on paper. You're like, okay, they have these pieces in place.
They didn't look good last year.
No, but on paper,
I didn't
before
think
the
that-
season started.
I didn't
Before
think it
the
was
season.
good.
No,
No.
There was
I didn't think so.
complete question marks on the defensive line.
Defensive line.
Okay, yeah,
There was
fair
complete
enough.
question marks there.
There was hope there.
Their secondary was young, and you're like, hey, can they take that step forward?
Marcus Lewis, Kai Gray, those guys at the
I
corners.
had concerns about the O-line, but I was wrong about those ones. The O-line was great.
Yeah,
And MBT.
Yeah, so there were the concerns last year, I think. This year, it's Ed went out and he won free agency, and that's always a concern when you win free agency. But as you've pointed out when we've talked about this in the past, he did it the right way. It wasn't just like he got in just whatever name.
so he grabbed a whole line, man.
But he also filled the needs of this team. Like
Right.
it's not like he went in and okay, who's the best middle or linebacker?
Which
that's a
Chris
free agent,
Jones
and
did.
I'm going to go fill in to get the best linebacker. Well, Ed knew he had 2 linebackers. He didn't need to go address that. So okay, where am I going to go attack first? It was the D line. It was secondary. And Chris Jones was like, hey, CFL list. Here's the top 10 free agents.
Yeah.
Let's get the top 10 free agents and let's just build an all-star team. And then we'll worry about everything else after that. Ed went, here are my needs. I'm going to go fill them out. And then I'm going to worry about just bringing in players.
I think one of the, Tyrell Ford, obviously, that's a big signing.
Huge.
He's going to shut that side down.
Yeah.
He's not going to get tested that much. But that right there in itself is a huge advantage for your defense. I want to see what Royce Metier brings to the table. I think he might be a massive game changer for this team.
Royce Metier is scheduled at this moment to be on the Hangout on Wednesday.
Really?
Just throwing that out there.
He is such a brilliantly spoken man too. He
Nice.
was on EST Afternoons, and I just wanted to listen to him. And to me, okay, that he sounds confident. He sounds very, very educated.
Poised.
Okay, to me, as your starting safety, that means a lot.
Yeah.
That means somebody that's the quarterback of the defense. You know, say what you want about Nick Anderson and Jake Surratt, but everything runs through Royce Metier. And I think I love his style of play. I love how aggressive he is.
Yeah.
And he's a ball hawk. I think then tell me the last time the Elks have had a dominant safety.
Lucas Purifoy was actually decent last year.
No,
He
okay.
wasn't a big fan of him.
I did not he got beat deep too many times. There's too many times I saw Luchez Purifoy in a chase position.
You're not wrong.
And
I
it
said
just-
decent.
it's
I didn't
just
say good. I said decent.
It's just not supposed to happen.
I think age is a factor there with Luch too.
Yeah, and
like
hey
31.
man, that guy was a passionate player. He was an incredible hitter. I mean, he brought a lot to the plate. I just think
Still could have been
with
better.
Metier, you get the complete package.
Yeah.
Where you get the ball hawk, you get the speed, and you get the physicality. That as a safety, I think it's really important, and I think it's been missing. I was down at practice yesterday, and like he's commanding, that defense, and it sounds stupid, but it's just your comfortability with the team and with the defense of hey, we're doing this is on strong right, strong, like in practice, yelling so that people at the top Commonwealth Stadium could hear.
That's good.
It's showing a lot of confidence, and I think this. As much as you want to say there was there were an incredible amount of changes on the defense. I really think that, and I hope I'm right, because if I'm right about Royce Metier, that's a good thing for the Double E.
Well, and I guess next question would be another player that he had to take a leadership role in that first preseason game, but Joel DeBlanco.
Mm-hmm.
Does Joel DeBlanco make his way to the starting role this year?
Because they would have to. So,
Who do you got in front of him?
Aren't going anywhere.
No.
So it's can he play the other side? And
I don't think he's comfortable.
I don't know.
there.
I got to go look at who they're gonna. That's the thing. Who's starting in that spot? But is he comfortable? I just also don't know if he's like. To me, he's a special teams guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's a special teams guy,
And he's
who's
next man up.
punishing.
Yeah.
He's next man up, but I think he will be in some sets.
You think?
Like I think they will put him in. He's probably the next man up in that respect as well. So if they go to a more of a run-heavy defense, he might slot in there.
Because I'll be intrigued. Like where does Rugamba play? He started in the seconds in the preseason, moved to first. Where do they have him slotted in? Like there's a couple of.
He's
players
kind of a
that-
nickel guy.
Yeah.
When they come in to have a pass coverage defense, I think he can slot in there maybe as like a. We used to call it a thief position where you're underneath the safety, but you're free like the safety, but you're just trying to steal, underneath crossers, because he's incredibly athletic.
Yeah.
He is.
But I did hear with Joel DeBlanco, his movement was the concern last year.
Yep. I mean, he's
Right.
he's a Mack truck.
Yeah.
He is built like a Greek god.
But did best in straight line scenarios, right? Where
Yeah.
as opposed to moving side to side,
Well,
he
that's
was
where
good
Nick
head
Anderson
on.
is a little ball of hate.
Oh.
Like he just boop, 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 he's in the hole and you're dead.
And that extension is huge for them. That extension was huge. I do wonder, and even though his size is an issue, I do wonder if he gets an opportunity if he balls out this year.
He
the
would have got
NFL?
it this
NFL
year. He would
opportunity.
have got it this offseason.
I would still worry one more year.
Coming
Yeah.
off of defensive. I mean, he's the defensive rookie of the year.
But if he can get defensive player of the year,
I'll be skeptical for 1 year.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
if
it is
goes
a
well-
size thing.
It's
with him.
and
It's
to
a
me
height
that's
thing.
that's a good problem to have in the CFL in a sense. Like it sucks for next year that you might lose a player, but at the same time it means they had a great season.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean,
And-
you never want to not see somebody carry on.
They get
go,
there, and at
go
the same
back.
time, I've always put it like 50-50. They'll get cut and they'll be back.
yeah.
And
Which
especially
Nick would be
if you
back.
welcome that, if you're pushing like, hey, go to the NFL, then they're more likely to come back to your team and stuff. I am fascinated by tomorrow just from a narrative perspective. We already mentioned Trey versus Nathan, two Canadian quarterbacks, first time ever that they're going up against each other in week one. You got two rookie head coaches going up against each other, Mark Killam and Buck Pierce, seeing what they can do. Killam is the fourth. There's 4 Canadian coaches in the CFL this year. I didn't know that there was 2 others.
No,
Mike O'Shea is a Canadian. We already knew that.
right?
Corey Mace is Canadian. He's from Port Moody.
Hot damn, I did not know
And
that.
Bob Dice is Canadian. I didn't realize that one either. There's 4
I was gonna
Canadian,
say Dice, I was pretty
There's 4
sure.
Canadian-born head coaches in the Canadian Football League this year. And then you look at the other coaches. Buck Pierce is a guy that came up through the league, was a quarterback and player through this league. Dave Dickinson, same thing, a player in this league. You have Scott Milanovich did play in this league. But Jason Moss was around this league for a long time. And Ryan Didwitty was a backup, but he was around this league for a little bit. Like a lot of homegrown, even just guys who came here and they played and they stuck around and they're up there. So it's really nice to see. But Mark Killam versus Buck Pierce, Trey Ford versus Nathan Rourke. I hate being in BC to start.
Well,
I hate that.
just think of, So Buck Pierce, you're pretty much going to take the Winnipeg offense from last year and try reincarnate it in
And he's
BC?
OC, if I'm not mistaken. So he's the rookie head
Yes,
coach.
he is.
Yeah, so rookie head coach doing a coordinator, which always skeptical.
Yeah,
One of
a
the few
little too
coaches that
much
did
on
it
your
really
plate.
well was Chris Jones, actually, when he came here to Edmonton, was the DC as head coach, and it worked. But Corey Mace is DC down in Saskatchewan.
So I think in terms of game planning, that might give Edmonton a bit of an advantage.
You don't know what a Mark Killam team is because he was special teams.
But you know what you had. Jordan McSimic was just there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? But is he going to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, in his offense? Because I think you almost have to with a totally different style of quarterback.
Well,
different running
expect
backs.
James Butler to be used. I'll say that
Yeah,
because he used running backs.
True.
Yeah.
You know, he had Andrew Harris, he had Brady Oliveira, he had Justin Augustine out in Winnipeg, and he used them.
Yeah.
So expect a running attack tomorrow out in BC. It's also then what is Nathan Rourke?
How does he look? And I think there are still some question marks, but it looks like Nathan Rourke is returning to form.
And if he does, MOP. I don't think anyone touches him.
man, we're at 76 thumbs up. We should make a push for 100. We only got 7 minutes left.
Smash the thumbs up for EST.
Smash the thumbs up for Scout. Right?
For Jay and Maddie, let's go.
Come on.
Smash the thumbs up for an
who's
Oilers
playing right now?
game day, Elks game day tomorrow.
Uke's playing for sure because he's the one yelling. I like this thing that Uke's coming on Fridays. He needs to come a little bit more to get more games in. He's got to be a little more
I
committed.
challenged him to a game today.
But I'm
Nice.
also very excited that he's like, it's just, I'm missing Uke. He's playing Trev. It's
Who's
14-14.
Wow.
So it's, who do we got here? KC versus Dallas. So it's the number one versus number one.
Zach wanted to play me at 11, but I feel bad. If Uke's here, I think we should give the machine to him. Right?
Well, but if you scheduled.
I know.
I
but
told Uke. Well, the problem I have with that is like to Uke's problem. He tweeted yesterday saying, I want to play. Who wants to play me tomorrow? And I tweeted back at him and said, message the group. And then he didn't message the group. And then Zach said, you two have a game scheduled. And then after he's like, I'm going to come in. Should have sent it sooner. Figured out, Uke.
There's a protocol.
Like, what are you doing? What else are you doing? Busy watching your basketball? He loves
well,
his
I
basketball.
told him I wanted to I'd whoop his ass.
You will.
Hernan gave me a hard game yesterday, man. Hernan's tough to play because he runs with his quarterback.
He always has.
Yeah.
I slowly have been adding that to my repertoire a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's hard to defend.
It can be.
See, I play a lot of Retro Bowl on my phone, which is like basically the same thing. It's Tecmo. So I've been playing a lot of that, but
It's different when you're joystick and the
Way
buttons.
different.
Like I
Way
don't
different.
even know if I want to play with an SNES controller ever. Like the joystick and the buttons, just really nice.
it's a feel. It's a
I
vibe.
haven't played this week. I'm too busy. Because I got Lock Shop coming up.
Calvin C says, Matt J. Scout, do you think this is the last we've seen of Chris Jones in the CFL?
No.
No?
It's people rotate. He went to Hamilton. He was a great defensive coordinator for them.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting him a defensive coordinator.
Maybe
job.
not as a
Easily.
head coach or a GM. Maybe as a
He'll start as a
coordinator.
DC and he'll become a head coach again. Probably. I think he has one more shot.
He is still with Belichick, right?
No, that was rumored that he was going there. And then it came out he's not. When they announced the roster, it wasn't on it.
Interesting. Okay, so he is not playing.
Last
in
I
the
saw
coaching,
that he was
sorry.
supposed to be an assistant there, or whatever with what's his face, Freddie Kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came out that all of a sudden he wasn't going to UNC.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's weird because I thought that was a shoe-in thing, but at the same time,
No, it's 3 days ago. He's now been hired 3 days ago.
there you go. Okay, I thought
Yes.
it was going to come out.
Well, yeah, because it came out that he was going there.
Yeah.
And then the roster was released and he wasn't on there. And everyone's like, why isn't he on there? And it sounded like then something fell through.
Right.
But 3 days ago, it says now he's with the Tar Heels.
And Jay, what do you think on that? Are we going to see Chris Jones again in the CFL?
Maybe as a coordinator. I certainly don't think you'll see him as a GM.
No.
If he comes in and excels at the coordinator position, I could see him maybe somewhere giving him a shot as a head coach.
Right.
I changed my mind. He's not coming ever to the CFL again.
Whoa.
Well, he's now with the Tar Heels. And he's a defensive assistant there. But my assumption that if it goes well, he'll then become a DC in the NCAA. and he'll work his way and he'll stay in the NCAA. Whereas if he doesn't go well, no team's going to take a shot at him in the CFL.
Exactly, and that's where I was going to go with that.
It now.
Like, the bigger question is, does he stay in college football?
I think that's where he goes.
Well,
now.
it's like, does he want to come back to the CFL?
Probably
Not if you're
Not if you're in the NCAA Div 1 football.
And you're in the ACC as an assistant. Maybe you do well, Freddie Kitchens as well, and someone goes, you want to know something? We're going to hire Chris Jones as a defensive coordinator. He's helping out next year. He's with Wake Forest.
Right.
Something like that. You're taking that over CFL right now.
Well, and it's not like the Jacksonville Jaguars scenario where they keep on grabbing, Canadian coaches and coordinators and, or Cleveland Browns when they grabbed Chris Jones. There's a couple teams that have those ties and that do like CFL coordinators and guys with CFL experience. But in this scenario, you now have a money opportunity.
It's more money. And if once you're in the NCAA route, I think you're going to stick in it as much as you can.
Yeah.
So, Orlando Steinauer left to go to NCAA, and then he came back. Like that's where if this goes well for him, I think he's staying in the NCAA. If it doesn't go well for him, I think then that hurts his stock coming back.
He'll be right back up, yeah.
And type thing. So maybe if there's a 10th team, that's the only other thing.
But it's a big opportunity, and I mean, working with Belichick, it's...
Well, but you also have to deal with his girlfriend.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's also drama there too, right? Do you want the drama? I mean, I think if you're getting that kind of opportunity, you don't care about the drama because it doesn't really affect you. He's still at a very good arm's length away from that Belichick girlfriend drama. So, but good question by Calvin. I like that one.
What are we at for likes? I can't see on my phone.
Did we get above 80?
89.
89. We're 11 to go. Smash the thumbs up for EST. Come on.
Forget EST. Smash it for Scout.
I was gonna, if you think the
make
Oilers
me
are going to
blush.
win tonight, hit the smash up. If you don't hit the thumbs up, it means you think the Oilers are going to lose tonight.
Oh, pigeonholed. Pigeonholed.
With 1 minute left on the
gonna
clock,
throw that one
Matty
out there.
comes in with the
I'm going to
heat.
throw that one out there. If you don't hit that thumbs up on it, it means you think the Panthers are taking game 2. But if you hit it, it means you think the Oilers are winning game 1 or game 2.
Wow.
Clutch.
Just throwing that one out there. Scout, how can people find out more or tune in more to Elks Call
The Elks Call.
and Shotgun Network?
Shotgun Sports. We have a lot of CFL shows, by the way, on Shotgun Sports now. We have the Argos Fancast, Stampeders Roundup, which and Stamps. So we try not to promote them too much, but
Any CFL coverage is good coverage.
shout out Jason over at. He's also had Derek Dennis on, and Derek Dennis was talking Elks, talking about his time coaching in preseason there, so in training camp. So pretty cool. But Rouge, White, and Blue podcast. We also have the Winnipeg Terminal. So we got a lot going on at Shotgun Sports. You can find that on YouTube at Shotgun Sports Network Ltd. And then give us a like, give us a subscribe. We're trying to get to 500. Monetization is not easy on YouTube. But then for the Elks Herd, at the Elks Herd everywhere on social media. So try to be as up to date as possible with the jersey launches last night. We were sure to get on that immediately. So it was cool to see some support on that. New jersey's looking great. It's nice to have the double E's back on the sleeves. It's nice to have the traditional stripes and everything. So, great turnout last night. Great to see everybody. So you can find us at Elks Events, at the Elks Herd, the Elks Call. Search it wherever you get your podcasts. And then, Shotgun Sports Network.
I'll air 5 o'clock tomorrow on our station.
Nice.
Did we do
Looks
it?
like the Oilers are going to win.
Perfect.
107 likes.
Let's
There we
go.
Look at how
Let's
that
go.
goes up. Jay's got Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, 3 to 5 here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Is 5 o'clock GCLD's Oilers Stream pregame show. Tommy Ahern will get you set for Oilers Panthers game 2. Prior to that, EST afternoons, we've got the Oil Stream with Reed and Gager. I am coming up with the Lock Shop. Benny's going to join me as we'll talk some Stanley Cup final. Reminder, tomorrow we got Hello Hockey at 10 o'clock. We got Korean and Goal kickoff show at 7 o'clock.
I'm so excited.
We'll have to figure out dinner plans.
Yeah.
I'll do game 1.
Really?
Yeah, I'll do game 1. And then Sunday, VIP golf
snacks
show.
too. We need snacks.
Yeah, I'll do dinner. You do snacks.
Done.
VIP golf show, 8 o'clock Sunday morning. Scout, thank you for coming. Really appreciate this.
Thanks, guys. Always enjoy it.
Thank you to everyone for listening to the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta. On behalf of Jay, Scout, Benny, I am Matt. Lock Shop coming up in a few minutes. Benny and I will talk with you shortly. Thanks for tuning into the Hangout.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today,